Yeah!
It's Josh Williams here, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 65 for Wednesday, August 8th, 2018. How are you guys doing? Welcome, onesies. I'm going to tell you guys this week about a wedding reception that I went to. I had an audition, the gym and meal prep crap. I watched some comedy specials, right? I hung out with my buddy Mika and his lovely wife Mel. I'm going to read you guys' emails, all sorts of little things to chat about here. Let me start right off by saying after the last podcast, guys, I took my bottle of scotch. I didn't take the bottle. That sounds pretty rough. But I bought a brand new bottle of Ballantine's 15-year-old, and I cracked that puppy, poured myself a nice little glass, went out back with a cigar. And funny enough, my roommates, Jason and I don't know if Kamar was there initially. I don't think he was, as a matter of fact. But either way, I don't think Kamar was there at all during that evening. Wow, how about that? My memory's starting to go. Not that that's a surprise to me. Anyways, point being is I took a scotch and a cigar, and we went back on the back porch. I don't know if you guys have seen some of my live videos or whatever. I don't know if you're following the social media. Maybe one of the reasons to do that. But we watched a movie out in the back porch. We have set up, actually, it's funny enough, you should follow Kamar. Kamar is absolutely fucking hysterical. I actually have to put that in my notes right now, that Kamar made me laugh my fucking ass off at my Friday tasting. Was it my Friday tasting? I believe it was. And speaking of which, happy belated birthday to avid listener right from the beginning, my buddy and roommate Kamar. Happy birthday, buddy. I don't know if you want me to say your age, so I won't. But you certainly made me laugh on your birthday. I thought I was ready to do this goddamn episode, guys. And I also don't know if you're okay with me telling them about your Instagram post on your birthday. But I mean, if you're posting it publicly, I can't imagine why you'd get upset with me doing it. So I'll only say what it looked like. Oh, guys, I'm all over the fucking map. All I can say is Tuesday after the podcast, I took my cigar and my scotch and went out the back deck because we have our setup where we have a big screen TV outside on the wall. We bring it from the back sunroom, which is relatively large. It's like a huge rec room attached to the back of the house. So we go from the rec room out into the porch, and the TV goes in and out as the weather permits. So we sat out back. It was myself, Jason, and a good friend of ours, Colin O'Brien. Initially started, I believe Simon came along about halfway through. We watched Casino out back. I gotta tell you guys, when we got the TV outside, it's got this very wicked kind of summery feel, almost like going to a drive-in the sense that you're outside, you got the nice elements, cars are going by on the street, it's just, you're outside, but then you got this nice sound system and TV. It's got this very, like when the communities, little, what do you call it? Townhouse communities, they'll sometimes do like, someone will bring a projector or whatever, and they'll do like a movie night, but it's always shit sound, right? Because the sound's just coming from the projector. No one ever brings the sound. Screen, put it up against the side of somebody's house, nice and big, but they never think, oh shit, how's everyone going to hear it? And they think that the speakers on their projector's going to be enough, but people are talking. You can never hear. Anyways, point being, I had a great time Tuesday night. We had some drinks, tied one on, I would say. Didn't get shit-faced, but definitely had a few drinks. And made my first mistake of the week. I had the guys ordered a bunch of stuff in from Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes or one of those fucking, there we go, giving some free plugs to local delivery places. But I ordered a small pizza from Gabriel's, and I crushed that fucking thing all to myself because the booze takes control and I have no willpower. So yeah. I can't even ride that in a happy way. I'm like, I crushed a fucking pizza. And then we had a great time. I got to tell you, like I said, that was a great evening. The podcast was done. It was uploaded, ready to go. And I was able to just sit, have a cigar. Oh my God. What a great movie, Casino, right? Who hasn't seen that? What's his face? Martin Scorsese's follow-up attempt to see if lightning can strike twice after him making Goodfellas, which is one of the best movies he makes. Another Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci movie with Casino. Sharon Stone, back when Sharon Stone was the talk of the town. Now it's Margot Robbie, right? They're like, who's the hot chick that needs to be in every movie right now? Margot Robbie. But back then it was Sharon Stone. I think it was just the tail end of her popularity, right? She was the hot wife in Total Recall. Basic Instinct, right? Those were some big Sharon Stone movies. That was her fucking era. And now she's gone. She cut her hair short and went batshit crazy. If you look at any of the interviews, she seems absolutely loony. Whatever. Wednesday morning, got up and Ubered despite a mild amount of dehydration from the night before. What's your problem, Josh? Do you drink too much? Maybe. I'm drinking a Caesar right now. It's my first of the day. I mean, it is only 4:30, right? Most people aren't even off yet. And as always, recording this episode on Tuesday for you guys on Wednesday. I thought this was going to be a really short... This is what I'm hoping for this episode. I'm hoping to make it really short and almost have some people be like, dude, what the fuck? That was like a 30-minute episode. It never is. I always think, I'll make it a short episode. You guys can yell at me if it's too short, or maybe tell me that was perfect. Like that every time. But you know what? I'm going to get jawing as I'm known to do. And I'll look down. It'll be like an hour and a half by the time we get to the end of this fucking thing. So... I'm going to try to move this along this week and see if you guys prefer an abbreviated version of my life. Wednesday morning, Ubered. And then I had an audition, which I thought was at quarter after 11, and it turned out it was 11:05. So I'm Ubering, and around 10 o'clock, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take one more ride. I think it was, you know what? Actually, as a matter of fact, it wasn't even 10 o'clock. It was like 9:45. And I'm like, I'm going to take one more ride. And then when I'm done this ride, I am going to go, home, shower, change, read the lines a couple times. I'm even going to be reading the lines in this episode. A little spoiler for you guys. I'm going to read you the exact lines that I had to read for my audition. And I didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement. So if everyone has a fucking issue with that, maybe make sure that you loudmouth comics with podcasts don't get lines for a movie. But anyways, I figured myself, I'm going to give myself an hour to go home, shower, change, drive to the place, plenty of time. And again, I thought it was quarter after, right? So I'm thinking, if I'm home for quarter after 10, shower, change, hit the road early, it gives me half an hour to get there. It only takes 10 minutes. So I accept this one last ride. And I go pick the person up, and they're not out front waiting, or they're not even a minute or two. This person ends up making me wait 5 minutes to pick them up. And that's a little bit of extra time I didn't want. No biggie. I'd start the ride. And I don't know if you guys know this about Uber. A lot of people think we seem to know where you're going before we pick you up. We do not. Once we hit start ride, that is the first time that we find out where you're going. It avoids cherry picking, so it's good customer service, but it's kind of hard for instances like that where I'm on borrowed, not borrowed time, but limited time. So now to say this trip is finally starting, and I get this guy, find out what he's doing 25 minutes away. And I'm very close to home at this point. Pick him up. He's going super far away. 25-minute ride. So around, 5 to 10, maybe 10 to 10. We start driving down the route, and we hit this part of town that has a canal. Ottawa has a canal, and there's bridges over it that allow boats to go through. Well, we start to drive down, and right as we get stuck in the point of no return, traffic surrounding us everywhere, we can't back up. Traffic is stopped, and the bridge goes up. So we sit there for 10, 15 minutes waiting for this bridge to go up. So now my 25-minute trip now is an extra 15 minutes added to it. So I'm able to shave 5 minutes off the clock, but I finally get this guy up to his destination at 10:35 in the morning. So I'm thinking, all right, well, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get home. I will quickly change and then get my ass there. So I don't know what happened. I didn't break any law. Well, I probably went a little bit over the speed limit, not too much, but I didn't blow through any red lights or stop signs, and I didn't go more than 10 kilometers over the speed limit. But the fact of the matter is I managed to get home at a half decent time. I think I got home at maybe 10 to 11, and I changed and everything within 3 minutes. Cause I was wearing just, driving around, not doing anything fancy clothes. And the audition was for a winter scene. So I figured I might want to put on a long sleeve shirt, maybe grab a toque. So I could sort of make it look like what I'm going to look like if it's winter time. I'm supposed to play in a 30, I think I'm supposed to play between 40 and 50-year-old cab driver, and I'm 35, and I don't really look that old. Because I act like a fucking child all the time. Anyways, get to the audition, and see that, I get there 3 minutes late. I thought I was still going to make it there 10 minutes early. Nope, 3 minutes late. Because I didn't realize it was 11:05. I thought it was 11:15. So I get in, and I see 3 other people that I know, some buddies that have some other comedians and stuff in the area that I know do a little acting here and there. Take a look at the sheet and see, wow, these guys look even younger than I am. So they were clearly just asking anybody to audition. So I go, I was talking to the person who's running it, and she's a great person. And we chat every now and again, and I don't think she said this directly, and I don't even know if she quite indirectly said it, but what I understood was that they'd already picked the person for the part. I was looking at 2 other guys in the thing, and I go, oh yeah, there's no way I'm getting this. These other 2 guys look like, Vermont cab drivers. I don't. So, and again, I'll read you the fucking lines. I'm glad I told them I'm either getting the part or I'm getting a new joke out of this. This is ridiculous. Just everything about it is stupid. So I'm going to read that to you guys in a little bit, but, go to the audition. I see the person there, my friend. I don't know. She doesn't know anything about this podcast, so I'm not going to name her, start throwing people under the bus, but, we do one audition taping. It's short and sweet. I go, well, that was awful. Actually when she was done, she's like, perfect. I go, yeah, we're not going to take 5 more takes. You don't want to take 5 more takes. We should. I go, I obviously understand that you guys have already picked the person that you're going to have. This is just, formalities. You're getting paid to do the auditions, And she laughs, but, yeah, it was just such a fucking waste. Like the stress that you went through for like the hour and a half beforehand to basically, I was actually pissed off too, because, and not to be like that, this is the angry podcast, but the fact of the matter is just like 9:45, right? So in my head, an hour and a half before my audition, I should be able to take a little 10-minute ride and get home. No, instead I pick someone up who doesn't come to the fucking car right away. Then we get stuck, and then it ends up being a super far ride. Then we're stuck at a bridge that's lifting. The bridge I drive over this bridge 100 times every day. It never lifts. But the one time I'm in a hurry, right? That's when it's time to go up, which is, everyone would go, it's always the way. I guess it's just a little extra frustrating because, again, I'm driving Uber as a means to do my real career, which is, entertainment of some kind. And the acting thing is certainly a lot better pay, but B, a little more, in the same lane as the shit that I'm trying to do. So the fact, and I fucked up the audition. You know what? Maybe if I'd done really well, I would have, had a chance at the part. All right. I know I'm not fucking, Johnny actor. My face is not the one that they want to put in movies. All right. If you drop some more pounds, work on that charm, that acting fucking muscle. And, maybe I'll start seeing a few things, but it just frustrated me that I was basically like, a couple minutes late, barely had a chance. I was reading the lines that morning in the car, but it's still like, you get nervous. You want to do a good job. And it's not like you remember every line for line or whatever. And plus the lines are stupid. So it's like, you're not even trying to remember natural conversation, some goofy stuff. And, I was only reading my lines too. So the idea is that like what the other person says, I wasn't even sure like when my next time to speak was. It was just whatever. It was rushed. It was unprofessional of me, but all in all, it's a little embarrassing. So, and you know what, at the end of the day, I wasted time, right? Time is a currency. Why say yes to an audition? Why go through the trouble of doing all this shit just for it to not, work out or to even be your best foot forward. So obviously I'm a little embarrassed with myself and frustrated, but I wish I'd had a little bit more time to prep properly instead of rushing around the city, only having a chance to change, not to shower and, like I said, put my best foot forward. So all that is to say, I wasted a lot of time for something that's not going to happen on Wednesday morning. Then, of course, back in the afternoon, got ready to, I did some work in terms of tax prep. I did do a lot of cleaning and organizing for that because in the few months it's been since I organized all my tax stuff, it's all gotten spread around my office and whatnot. So I had to put that back together. I announced you guys the wonderful DK winner, my buddy Peter, who actually I have to send in his address. I have to bug him for his address. Because he's picked which book he wants. So again, congratulations to Peter for winning the Big Idea Simply Explained contest from my partners at DK Books. And yeah, so after that day, running around and doing work and stuff like that, I tapped the F out early. I don't remember what time I went to bed, but it was an early night for me. I've been very, very tired lately. And God, I love naps. Do you guys love naps? Oh, right in the middle of the afternoon, just be like, yeah, fuck it. I got a million things to do. It is time for an hour of sleep. I wanted to do that today, but I had too many things to do. I laid down and I set the alarm and everything and just did not get an opportunity to fall asleep because an email would come in, a text would come in, keep me working on something. I have to get out of bed and do it on the computer. That's not real. I know that some of you guys might think that this is not real problems or whatever. Oh, geez, you couldn't have a nap. I was actually out doing things. Whatever. You're also more successful than me, probably, if you work at 9 to 5. All right? You living in a house full of fucking insane people? Huh? Goddamn orphanage for comedians. So anyways, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, all the days of the week, Ubering in the morning, trying to make a goddamn living here. Thursday, I went to the gym with my friend Peter, and that was good. I hadn't been to the gym in a while. It was great to get into the gym. Oh yeah, Wednesday night too. Had another fucking pizza. Right, Tuesday crushed a pizza. Wednesday crushed a pizza. Not doing well. Not doing well. Again, eating well in the mornings. I gotta say, like, I'm doing good in the day. I'm keep my fucking calories low and everything like that, and then, start having a couple drinks, and I'm hungry. Boom. What's fast and easy? Pizza. So, just so you guys know, I have the scale numbers are not moving up because I'm still doing my other shit. I wish they were moving down. They're not. And there is a happy ending for this week. Okay, I was a good bitch, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I went to the gym with my buddy Peter. I went to Costco. Got a bunch of shit that I needed, more cleaning, organizing, tax work. Friday I had a tasting, which was fun, actually. Like, I've actually, on Friday, I spoke on my way to my tasting, which is in the middle of fucking nowhere. I spoke with a friend who is going to be taking over some of my social media stuff. So, I'm not the greatest at social media. I know that you need to post all the time. You need to post interesting stuff. But I just cannot do it enough, and I've got too many different things. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, and as much as I can't really afford a social media person, oh jeez, just splashing stuff all over the place. Stand by. As much as I can't afford a social media person, I'm like, you know what? If I'm not trying to constantly do it myself every day, post something, and all these different ones. I got one for the podcast, one for my stand-up, one for just myself personally, and this is like Facebook. Oh my God, this is my weekly vent sesh. Thanks for being my therapists, guys. You're listening to my problems, but I'm not there to like look at your face and go, you don't give a fuck. Or, to hear your advice. Because you don't have time. You're in your car. You're on your way somewhere important. And you don't have time to stop and write an email and go, hey man, by the time you get home, you got your own shit to deal with. So I get it, eh? What was this? Just us screaming at each other, and neither one of us can do anything about it. Anyways, I'm trying to move forward and say I'm still working on making little chip away shit. Point is I spoke to a social media person, good friend, about taking over that sometime in the fall after the Los Angeles trip. So we're gonna chat. We're gonna work on some projects together. She's gonna be taking over the accounts, and we're gonna amalgamate everything down because I think having too many different accounts is overwhelming. I'm not sure what post should go where. Should it go on Josh or the podcast or whatever it is? So we're gonna crush them all down into one nice and easy one that everyone can follow, and we'll have content there daily as well as stuff that's giveaway and shit. And I can keep you guys, I basically have you guys more on board with the things as they're happening. And so it gives me less to talk about here. I don't have to, bore you with stupid little stories in those events. So I'm excited for that. Also during my tasting that day, Kamar's birthday, I was standing at the tasting. Nobody was there. So I'm looking at my phone, I'm checking out Instagram, and Kamar's story was hysterical. He was out in the back porch, the TV's area. It's his birthday. He's like, I'm here drinking with my friends. He pans around. There's no one there. Very funny. And he goes, there's no one here, having a good time. It's my birthday. There's no one here. So I'm going to do this. And he just holds up a mushroom and fucking eats it. And he's just staring. The next shot is him staring at the camera. I can't remember exactly what he was doing. I think he's just like, it's very, I think it was like bad taste. I'm like, that's very this and that, da, da, da. And then the next shot is of him wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a big pink feather boa, which was a great fucking cut. I didn't even get to see the rest of them. I didn't even hear what he was saying in the video. I was laughing so fucking hard. But he was having a great time, living the dream. I think him and Jason were out back doing some shit that night. And I got to go to my buddy Mika's place. Him and his lovely wife went there, visited them. We played some games, had some drinks. A night with drinking. I used to tease Jay all the time because he was drinking every single night. And now it seems like it's me. I'm the motherfucker who's drinking every night. To wash away the pain of life. I'm drinking Caesar like it's somehow good for me. Oh, it's tomatoes and vegetables. Good for you, right? What else? I had a good time at Mika's, as a matter of fact. We had a good time. Here's a fun thing too. This is one of the talking points here that I wanted to share with you guys is we were chatting about, I really can't remember how I brought it up. I really can't, but I remember Mika and I were talking. He was mentioning how I'll talk about shit. Now we were also drinking too. So obviously no hard feelings or anything like that, but we were chatting And, we got into a discussion, I think, fuck, I don't want to put words into his mouth, but it was something along the lines of like, I'll talk about shit on the podcast and I'm uninformed at times. 100%. I'm the first to admit it. I don't always know what I'm talking about. And if I read something, hey, I didn't write it. I'm just relaying the information. But I was telling him one of the things I like about the podcast is the fact that if I say something and my stupid opinions, right, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I like the fact that because there's people listening and things like that, you guys are, I remember what it was. I'll tell you in a second. But I was saying, I like the fact that you guys will write in and you'll point me in the direction of an article or a piece of information. I know, there was an article I read from a bathroom reader a long time ago, and Mika sent me in a podcast, a link to a podcast that talked in depth about that particular happening. That was awesome. And it was so coincidental because the bathroom reader I chose to read that from was from like 15 years ago. And I just out of the blue happened to pick an article out of it, and he just listened to a podcast about that exact same subject. And it wasn't like, hey, farming. It was like one particular dude's act of bravery back in the 70s or 80s. And again, I'm pulling that number of mass. I don't remember. But that was like, holy shit, like what are the odds, right? Had I read that a year later, maybe it wouldn't have been fresh in the mind or a year sooner, right? It's just a name and a quick little part of the podcast, regardless. So I remember what got it started was when I was talking to you guys about the moose and how they killed the moose in Ottawa. So my friend Vanessa called, read, and she was saying like she heard the podcast on the way home from work. She's like, holy shit, is that ever sad? Want to sit over here and open up my wrists or whatever listening to your podcast. And I was like, yeah, it's sad. But here's the thing. So saying how they killed the moose, and I thought that was tragic. Well, here's what I didn't know. And none of the things that I had read or seen indicated this at all, was that the moose's leg was broken. So when Vanessa called me, I had told her, well, apparently the leg was broken and there was nothing they could do. But that was not what was illustrated to me at the time. Like, again, I watched a video, moose wasn't moving or anything like that. And nothing in the write-up said anything about it being injured. So I was just like, oh, there's a moose on the highway. It was there from this time to this time. And authorities had to kill it, had to not euthanize it, but, another, they didn't say neutralize either. But, anyways, the long story short is I didn't get any piece of information that was injured. But later the next day, after, I did the podcast, Kamar came home and he's like, yeah, dude, the thing's leg was broken. They had to kill it. I go, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. I'm up for mercy killing, right? But the thing was, so when Mika and I were talking about it, I guess Mika was under the impression that I knew its leg was broken. I was still like, why do you have to kill it? Like they're going to fucking do, roadside fucking bone setting CPR to a goddamn moose. Right. So I just thought it was interesting how, like, I'll say something in the podcast, but it's based on the information that I have. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I wasn't there. I've always been a big advocate of, if you're not there, then what the fuck do you know? But based on the information I was given. So I thought they killed a perfectly healthy moose and it turned out it was injured. So what I wanted to say is I really like the fact that when I'm here running my mouth, that you guys are listening. As always, I'm grateful for it. And I like the fact that if I don't, if I'm missing a piece of information or I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that, you guys will hold my feet to the fire a little bit and send me in something that helps. I appreciate that. Certainly makes me feel better. Again, I thought it was fucking tragic about the moose. Didn't realize that, again, that one little piece of information goes from, oh, they just killed a moose for no reason to, oh, they had no choice. Right. So, a lot more comfort and closure comes from it that way. So anyways, I just wanted to give a little hats off to all of you guys who've listened to me say something and go, well, actually, here's a piece. Hey, thanks. I appreciate the extra information. That's why I read the bathroom readers. I like getting pieces of information about shit that I didn't know and, carrying it forward into conversations later, and then someone else tags it on with more information. The information boners between all of us grow. Right. So, anyways, I had a good time at Mika's place and crashed there the next, why'd you crash there, Josh? Because I was drinking. But the next morning, Mika's lovely wife left with the kiddo. They were going to go visit some family members, and then Mika had the place to himself, had, a bunch of stuff he was going to do, but him and I just sort of shot the shit for a little bit. It's kind of cool. Had breakfast, had a cup of coffee there. We shot a bow and arrow. Mika's got a bow and arrow that he got for his birthday a while back. Sorry if that's super secret. I apologize. You can give me shit later. I won't edit it out. That information's out there now. But just like I don't know what to call it. It's not like one of those crazy, like, I'm gonna go out and hunt me some dinner bow and arrow. I think it's just more of like a practice. It's professional, it's quality, but it's more for just like you're just shooting a target, in the backyard. It was fun. I was garbage at it. I've never done that before with a proper bow, right? Everyone's tied a string between a shitty piece of wood, your backyard, and think that it's gonna be enough. But this thing was kind of cool. I was garbage. We just did one round because you had to get to work, and we just shooting the shit. But we were talking about all the same stuff I talk about with you guys. How I don't know shit about cars. Wouldn't know how to fix a motor or an engine, but he's got a nice little piece of property, and we were talking about mowing the lawn there, and buying a riding mower, because there's no way you could fucking hand push his entire property. It would take you the whole goddamn day to do. But just what it was just me hanging out with one of my best friends in the whole world, just shooting the shit. I don't get to see it's so funny, and it's been years, right? I mean, I'm 35 years old. We used to hang out every day when we were 15. That's more than half my life ago. That when we were kids hanging out all the time. You get older, people get busy with life, right? Life takes you away from shit. I hope that all of you guys still have those close friends that you get a chance to see and connect with. I like that I get to see him in Melmore, and my buddy Jimmy and his lovely wife Alex. I spoke to them the other night just via FaceTime real quick, and they too were like, you know what, let's get together again soon. Because what can I say, guys? When I'm around, it's a ray of sunshine. I miss my friends, and it's nice to know that they miss me too. And I do really enjoy spending the time with them. You know what I mean? All the glitz and glamour of the stand-up profession. It's nice to just slow things down with the people you care about. Get back to something a little more real. I don't even know if that's an impression of anything or just what I imagine a smarmy moron to be. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, Saturday night. I think on Saturday during the day, I took the opportunity to run some errands with the mother, because she is. We usually do our thing on Sunday, as you guys hear all the time. But I had a tasting on Sunday, and so I figured we'd do them on Saturday, get the shit done. And on Saturday night, I had a reception for my good friend Brendan McKeegan, his lovely wife Jade. They got married in Mexico not long ago, and they had the reception back here to, for all the people who couldn't make it. And so, just did some basic errands. I'm trying to get my mom into wine. My mom works hard, and she, I think it's cool for her. Just the realization. It's like, wow, you're drinking more, and now you're trying to get other people to drink more. Basically like a drink pusher, a drink dealer. That's what I am, a drink dealer. But, no, I've just been doing a lot of tastings and stuff like that. And when she comes over, she's like, I'll offer a drink. I've been getting to drink this sangria that I've been making. Jesus. And that's why I need a nap in the afternoon, so I'm not yawning at you guys. But what was I going to say? Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn fucking... At any moment now, you guys could get a doodle-ding from me iPad. Anyways, yeah, she's been drinking the sangria and stuff like that. And I just figured, you know what, Mom? You might like a nice glass of wine every now and again, My parents live together, and they're divorced. Have been since I was a kid. I think I've talked about that many times, but just for context for anyone else, my parents live together, but my dad drinks like beer and stuff like that. Not often, but he drinks beer. He's not a big wine fan, but every time my mom brings something home, things that my mom brings home that are delicious tend to not be there when she wants them. So, I know that I don't think my dad's into wine, so it's like, hey, drink some. I don't need to tell you guys why the fuck. I took my mom to the LCBO and was like, let's get you some wine. So we got a couple bottles of wine, and then I went to the reception, of which I had a good time. Again, it's a strange thing. Oh, fuck. Sorry, guys. And again, some of you might be on your way to work, struggling to stay awake yourselves. I apologize for contributing yawns, but I went to my buddy Brendan's reception, which is very nice. They did it at a hotel here in the city. It was great to see it. Like, again, we're both comedians. Got to see a lot of other comics, a lot of guys coming from Toronto and stuff like that to be there for the reception. So it was great opportunity for a lot of people to, old friends and stuff to hang out. Groovy. And they had some announcements. And I'll tell you, so I don't want to take anything from them. I'm trying to move this thing along. So I'd like, I don't want to just blanket sweep something of theirs and then just, go, oh, okay. And then getting away from it. Again, my avid listeners, I think you guys know I'm a pretty honest dude. I had a relatively I had a kind of a depressing evening there. And it might have just come from, sometimes you get a lot of things at you all at once. I've talked about it before. But, lately I've been doing better with writing the stand-up, but at the same time I am drinking, a lot. Not more, but just a lot. I don't think I've gone a day in a long time without a drink. Sometimes I'll just have a drink, but I don't think I've gone a day without a drink in a while. And I don't feel like I can't function without it. I'm not jonesing for it. I just enjoy having a drink. I do believe I can stop anytime, which I think is what alcoholics say. But I am being honest about it. In the sense that I really do believe that, if it's like, look, you can't have a drink today. Well, then I wouldn't have a drink, but I enjoy it and I don't see any reason to stop at the moment. Cry for help. No, I don't know. I'm giving the information. It's out there, right? So if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, everyone knows where I was at fucking today, right? So I will say that the reception was good. It was beautiful. It was so lovely. Brendan and Jade had lots of great news. Like I said, they just got married. They just bought a house. Brendan just passed some. Now, he's also a very successful comedian, I might add. Writes, tours all over the world performing for the troops. He's performed at Just for Laughs Festival. Like, Brendan is a very accomplished comedian. So he does that. And on top of that, married, just bought a house, just passed his real estate license or course. So he's he's going to be able to, in his spare time, sell houses. And they have even more good news than that. Again, because I don't know that it's my place to say anything more. So the idea is I had a great time with everybody, but it's starting to feel pressure. Guys, I'm starting to feel like what have I got to show for my time on the planet? And I know you can't compare. I know that in my heart of hearts. But again, just, and like I said, maybe it just came from the fact that I hung out with my buddy Mika, and his wife and his kid and, at their place kind of thing. And, I actually even had something happen today where I was like, holy shit, like another friend of mine just bought a house. And I'm like, Jesus. And they like, let's put it this way. They bought a condo. I apologize, a condo. They bought a condo, but they've never even lived on their own before. They've just lived at home. And then they're like, I bought a house. I'm like, fuck. So again, I'm happy for people. There's no sour grapes. I know what it's like to give someone good news and they just sit there with a frown on their face. No sour grapes, no negative posturing or anything like that from me. But just in terms of my little, public journal that I have here with you guys, saying that like it's hard and I'm feeling very unaccomplished is the best way that I can phrase it. So again, I've been writing stand-up more. I'm still doing very well in my own personal stuff. Oh yeah. And crushed a pizza on Saturday night. And then I had Five Guys on Sunday. So I've had 4 meals that I've not had in a long time because they're not good for me. I definitely was showing signs of depression or escapism or whatever last week. So I cut that shit in the butt on Sunday. I was like, okay, you had a fucking off the wagon week, back on track. So, Saturday, like I said, I'm super, super happy for Brandon and Jade. Beautiful couple, great news and more great news on the way. I truly wish them all the best. And I am happy for them. Like I said, it's just a couple of days of just, you can't help but superimpose yourself into other, positions and things and just go, and compare. Right. So, long story short is just, I want to say a bit of a fire lit under me. Sometimes people say, they go, yeah, me too. And some people just sink. And I got to say, I did sink a bit, but, I can't do that. Now I also had some other good things happen this week too. I may as well finish off the week and then I'll tell you guys about the other stuff. Okay. I did my tasting on Sunday, nothing special. I had Five Guys on the way home, and on my way, when I got home, I was doing food prep. So like I said, I was on my way home and I'm like, you've had a fucking garbage week. And, the tasting was sort of early, but enough so that it was like 4:00 in the afternoon and I hadn't eaten yet. So yeah, on the way home, I got my just a burger, no fries, just a burger at Five Guys. And maybe that's my old justification. All I'm saying is that when I go off the wagon, if I get a pizza, I'm not like, yeah, and fucking crazy bread and dips and all. I'm like, nope, just it's still bad. All right. basically saying that like I shot up a fucking store, but I didn't murder the kid. You know what I mean? I didn't kill any of the kids. I'm just gonna let them live a lifetime of fucking horror because their parents were taken from them at an early age. Oh, that's not funny. Or is it? Do I have a dark side? Anyways, what the hell was I talking about? Yeah, I came home to do food prep on Sunday. So I ate a Five Guys burger, but then I came home and I was a good bitch, and I did chicken and some rice, very small amounts of rice and broccoli and vegetables. And I got the whole week, lunch and dinner made with my good bitch meals. And in fact, I had my first one today. Yesterday was a good day. Again, was a good bitch. I was actually way too busy yesterday to be able to eat poorly, but I tried to Uber. It was a holiday. Okay. And on the fucking holiday, I Ubered in the morning, forgetting that most people wouldn't be there, civic holiday, but it was still busy. And then instead of coming home and doing my taxes, I gave my mom a call who was off, said she needed some stuff. Or actually said she would like to do some window shopping. And instead we spent the whole day driving around window shopping at a bunch of stores that her and I like HomeSense and Bed Bath & Beyond. In fact, we found a new board game store, Nerd Festival over here. Found a new board game store in Barhaven. I think it's called Toys on Fire. Super cool place. Lots of stuff, very reasonable prices. So we picked up some new things there. We went to HomeSense and got a bunch of stuff. I bought some. HomeSense actually has a lot of like organic stuff now. I got some, organic. I don't want to say organic. Let's say natural toothpaste. Not that it's not organic. It's just natural toothpastes. I'm trying to do more things natural. I got Bed Bath. We got a patio set, which thank God I have the car that I have, because it would have been very, very difficult to bring all that shit back, in a regular sedan. And, what else? Costco, went to the LCBO again. I got my, there's some really cool coffee drinks that almost taste like an ice cap, just like a fizzy ice cap. And I think it's called Crazy Barista Coffee Fizz or whatever. Great drinks. Got a couple more bottles of wine. And then went back to my mom's place to build her patio furniture for her. And in Ottawa, it thunderstormed like a crazy motherfucker yesterday. But right as I got to her place, we're dragging the patio stuff out in the overcast. The lightning was starting everything, but I was like, no, there's no rain yet. I'm going to just work on this until the rain comes. And I swear to God, I got to I built the table. I built one of the chairs. I built the giant bench, like padded bench and everything. And I got halfway through the very last chair before it actually started raining. But for the entire hour and some beforehand, it was thunder, lightning, everything. Just the sky hadn't opened up yet. So did that. And then of course, as soon as we still left like a lot of our purchases in the car because I got to work right away on the patio set. And of course, as soon as, the sky opened up, now it's raining like crazy, like crazy, cats and dogs. So could not go in and out of the house to the car to get the stuff. I would have got fucking soaked. Same with the stuff we got. So, I ended up sitting inside and I watched 2 Jim Jeffries specials with my mom because it just rained like I said, like a motherfucker. And Jim Jeffries has 3 specials on Netflix available right now. We watched Freedom, Freedumb. I've talked about it before. And we watched This Is Me Now. Both Jim Jeffries, Jimjeffries specials. Very, very good. But I told my mom the other night to watch a special. And I tell you guys too, I've actually been telling a lot of people. I watched it. I think it took me 2 different days just watching it intermittently here and there. But there's a special from a guy named Neil Brennan. And Neil Brennan was the co-writer of Half Baked. And he was the, again, co-writer, director, partner with Dave Chappelle on The Chappelle Show. So Neil Brennan has written with like a lot of comics and he's very, very accomplished dude. But he's been doing stand-up for a while. And he has a special on Netflix called 3 Mics, like 3 microphones, 3 mics. And I'd never heard of the special, but I was watching Comedians in Cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, and Neil Brennan was one of the guys he took, on a trip. And so I was watching their episode. They referenced this 3 mics thing, and I figured I'd check it out. And because Seinfeld was giving him high praise for it. And I'll be honest, I've heard other Neil Brennan specials and albums and stuff, and they're very, very funny. Like I've heard Neil Brennan absolutely crush it. format of the 3 mics special that he did was like, there's 3 microphones set up on stage, and one of them he does one-liners into. The other one he does like sort of like regular jokes, and then the other one he does stories. And the jokes and the one-liners are okay. They're not horrible. They're not amazing, but for some reason, the stories that he told were like very personal stuff. They were stories about him battling his depression. And despite the fact that he had lots of success and accolades and everything like that, he was still very depressed. He talks about relationships that he's had that have failed. He talks about fear and the fear of, not fear of success necessarily, but just his fears in the business, and trying to move forward and blah, blah, blah. So all I can say is it was really interesting to listen to. It was very relatable. I'm sure it's fears that we can all do. It was super, super relatable to me. But I just thought I'd definitely give that one a plug. Neil Brennan, 3 mics. If you type in 3 mics to Netflix, it'll come up, but it was incredibly fascinating. Like I said, the jokes are okay. If you're watching, guys, if you're watching it and you're 5 minutes and you're going, well, this isn't very funny. Listen, I'm telling you, just get to the stories that he tells. Like the stories he tells are so unbelievably vulnerable and honest that I was floored by it. I was like, holy fuck. Like I've been trying to be more honest and vulnerable in my stand-up, and just watching that, I'm like, well, fuck, this guy's got a goddamn Netflix special. And he's talking about how like his parents, how he believes his dad never loved him. And not like in a bitchy way, like just, Here's the thing. I don't believe my father ever loved me. This happened in our lives. And the stories are well told. Like he doesn't just brush over things. Let's put it this way. He's a lot better at telling a story than I am. But I would definitely say check out Neil Brennan's 3 mics. I liked it, and I recommended it to lots of people this week. So yeah, there's my week in review. Sitting on the porch drinking, going to my friend's house and drinking at a wedding reception, drinking while I was waiting for the rain to stop. Taking other people to get some drinks, and it sounds so much worse. So I also wanted to say, hey, guess who hasn't called me in the entire fucking week since I called them? More than a week. Big brothers and big sisters, BBBS. That's bullshit. Can you imagine that? I'm trying to help people, and they won't even return my call. So, like, if you ever wonder why charities and people, you give and 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 why nothing ever comes back, because they got the wrong people running charities. All right. And that's me being a little bit upset because of the fact that, I really did genuinely want to offer. I feel like I have not enough time as it is. And I wanted to actually give it to some kid who might need it. And you know what? It's not the kids who need the help that are answering the phones and calling people back. It's people, I don't fucking know. It's people who aren't doing as good a job as they should. I can tell you that much right now. And if I'm out of line, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I didn't go, hey, Google me. I'm a comedian. Like, I didn't tell them any of that shit. I just said, hey, I'd like to help out. I'd like to learn. I said, I'd like to learn more about the process. Right. So I think that in and of itself is enough to be like, whatever. I don't care. I'm disappointed. I will try calling them again, but I will let them, I'm going to give them a piece of my goddamn mind. Will I? It's a good way for them to not pick you at all. I called you guys once and you never called me back. Like, fuck you. That is a piece of your mind, but it's not anything productive. Just like to be like, hey, trying to fucking help you out here. And, I don't even give a shit, to call people back. Whatever. I'm over it. You guys want to hear the lines from the audition that I had to do? I was auditioning for the part of Ernie. This was the thing I thought was stupid. This is Ernie, the cab driver in Vermont. So I'm going to read you guys the sides, as we call them, exactly how it stands. So it's an external Glastonbury train depot during the day. The small town train station is surrounded by thick pine tree woods. It's snowing, a perfect Vermont winter scene. Claire steps out, surprised to see no other tourists. She drinks in the scenery and the fresh air. This is heaven. A cab driver, Ernie, 40s, energetic, is waiting out front. I don't know how he's energetically waiting out front. He's like, it doesn't say if he's in the car or not, too. So when I was doing the audition, I was in the car. I figured he'd be standing outside the car like your typical cab driver waiting for someone to arrive at a train station or something. So he jumps at the chance to have a customer. Ernie. I'm Ernie. You headed into town? Claire. The Fortenberry Airbnb. She sees that the inside of his cab is decorated with Christmas ornaments and garland. She smiles. Perfect. Claire. Ernie, Like in It's a Wonderful Life? Ernie. Claire says, Ernie? Like in It's a Wonderful Life? Ernie says, I'm not sure that's what my ma had in mind, but she sure loved the movie. Come on, your magic carpet awaits. Internal. See, it's an external before, now it says internal, but they had me do it like I was in the car the whole time. Anyways, Ernie's cab, day, moving. As Ernie drives, Claire looks at the window in wonder. They pass scenic vistas of forests and valleys beyond. Ernie. So, you here visiting friends? Claire. I'm taking a break from work. I couldn't think of a better place to escape to. They come to a large hand-painted faded sign. Welcome to Glastonbury. Claire. Ernie, could you slow down for a moment? Thanks. The sign features a Christmas sleigh with the caption below. Venice has gondolas, Glastonbury has sleighs. Let us take you on the ride of your life for Christmas. That's stupid. Ernie. Personally, I think the old girl could use a new coat of paint. Claire. I like it just the way it is. She whips out her phone, shoots a picture of it and posts it. Caption, day 1, going on the ride of my life. Lame. Claire, I noticed the train station was pretty empty. Hasn't the Christmas festival started yet? Ernie, didn't the Fortenberry tell you? They make a dramatic turn and the forest opens up to reveal Main Street, Glastonbury. Rows of Victorian storefronts line the street, but none are decorated for Christmas. The sidewalks are empty. There are few shoppers, not a sleigh in sight. The gazebo has a Charlie Brown Christmas tree that's not even decorated, and it's crooked. Claire, tell me what? Ernie, the Christmas festival's canceled this year. Claire, no, that's impossible. There are supposed to be Christmas windows. More. Claire continues, sleigh rides, what about the luminaries? Canceled. We had a flood come through here in the early fall. Wiped out all the businesses in the upper village. Thankfully, Main Street was spared. Claire, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Ernie, I grew up here and I've never seen anything like it. It's really killed our tourist trade. A lot of the merchants decided not to celebrate this year. Claire looks out the window at the grim scene. Ernie, how long did you say you were staying? Exterior, Fortenberry Books during the day. Ernie pulls up to the quaint stone building with a wraparound porch and large display windows. A sign over the door reads, Fortenberry's Books since 1906. It's identical to the painting her mother did 25 years ago. Claire's spirits are instantly lifted. Claire, this is lovely. Ernie, Fortenberry's an institution. Been here longer than I can remember. Can I take your bags inside? Claire, no, I'm good, but thanks, Ernie. Please come by and visit. I don't know anybody here. Ernie, I have a feeling you'll make a lot of friends real fast. She gives him a generous tip. He smiles broadly. Ernie continued, you must be from New York. Claire, how can you tell? Ernie, nobody around here tips like that. Thanks. Merry Christmas. So give me 1 second. I have to go tell Jason to shut the fuck up. Because that's all I can hear right now in the hall. Again, you guys probably can't hear it at all, but trying to read through that with him out there is crazy. And then we're going to go over what I think is stupid about that script. All right. So it just said a little Mark 1 on the thing. I hope it didn't happen enough to fucking mix these things together. Sorry, not trying to swear at you guys. Man, am I ever easily distracted. All right. So these lines here. Let's go over a few things. For starters, a 40-year-old cab driver in Vermont. Okay? I don't know if you guys know this, but Vermont is a very upscale state. This guy's name is Ernie, not to be, confused with Bernie, as in Bernie Sanders, the senator of Vermont. That's a really far stretch for them. And I think it's very funny that they're in a small town and he chooses to say, come on, your magic carpet awaits. Right? Magic carpets being more of a Middle Eastern thing. And of course, those are never associated with cabs. That's a little bit of this Ernie guy, has he got a subliminal, racism towards cab drivers? I mean, he is one. And he's kind of like, again, this girl's from New York, right? She's from New York. We learned that throughout the script. But somehow she chooses to get in a cab that's decorated inside. This guy's the only cab driver there. No one's around town. He's got his cab all decorated with Christmas on the inside, even though everything's been canceled, which you'd think would set off false hopes for someone who definitely showed up for the Christmas festival. At the same time, you'd be like, oh, well, maybe it's just a nice guy. Sure. But it's Vermont. All right. Vermont. I drive Uber. You'd think this is the role I was born to play. For starters, the more well-off someone is, Vermont's a very wealthy state, but the more well-off someone is, the less likely they are to talk to the cab driver. They usually have this sense of, people, when I pick people up in nice neighborhoods, they put their fucking earbuds in right away, or they get right to their phones. Like there's usually, predominantly No conversation from them. They don't want to associate with the help. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that she's, oh, Ernie, blah, blah, blah. I think that some of the dialogue is really stupid. Like, it's funny. It's a flood, and the flood wiped out the upper village. Not the lower village. The upper village was wiped out by the flood. Smart writing. And on top of all that, this woman, when she gets to her destination, says, please come by and visit. I don't know anyone here. So the 40-year-old unsuccessful Vermont cab driver, this woman from New York, where cab drivers are crazy, her instinct in a town where she doesn't know anyone is to invite the cab driver to come visit her. Oh man, I can't wait for this movie to come out. It makes a lot of sense. Chatty McGee woman. And then, wow, you must be from New York. No one around here tips like that. That's the only thing that they got right, is the fact that this Vermont, an upper, income area, doesn't tip. Usually very well-off people are the least kind and the least tippy, I find. So, rich get richer scenario, in the sense that I just find it's the middle class that usually takes care of people the best, Go to a hockey game, sit in the 300 level. That's where the real fans are, the best vibes. So I just think I don't know. I thought the whole thing, it was really hard for me to actually focus on memorizing these fucking lines when I was deconstructing how stupid all of it was at the same time. It's talking about sleigh rides and everything like that. And instead of going like, oh, come on, your sleigh ride awaits, oh, come on, your magic carpet away. Your magic carpet, your fucking car, And I didn't say any of this. If you're like, well, Josh, you didn't get the part because you probably shit on their stuff. Fair enough, but I didn't do it in front of them. I did not tease them. Whatever. Come on, next role. Made for TV movie? Yeah, no shit. With writing like that. All right, well, without further ado, guys, what do we do now? Hey, where's my screen here? Did I back out of it? Oh, I must have. That's why I don't have my sound effects in front of me. Well, this is a real fucking half-assed episode of my part. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my partners at portablepress.com. Uncle John's bathroom murder. See, that's what happens when I don't get my little nap. I'm not as bright. Not to say that I ever really was, and there's lots of times where I don't nap and I don't do this poorly, but I just, there's so many things to do in the day, guys, you don't have enough time to do it. And which of us have thought, I'll spend all this time sleeping, man. If I could have all those hours back that I spend sleeping, maybe I'd be able to be more productive. Some people say I get more sleep and be more productive. Maybe. But those are a lot of hours that, 8 hours a day sleeping. Wouldn't it be great if you just didn't need to sleep? Which begs the question, why do we sleep? Right? Why do we have to sleep? Well, that's going to be the question that I read the answer to for you guys today, because I'm reading from the edition Do Geese Get Goosebumps and more than 199 perplexing questions and astonishing answers. The question we're asking today is, why do we sleep? The answer, on the surface, it seems like a great blunder of evolution to require a living thing to fall into an unconscious, paralyzed, defenseless state for several hours every single day. So what gives? The function of sleep is still not completely understood by science. One thing is certain, all creatures, great and small, have to endure a period of rest every day, including mammals, fish, birds, reptiles, and insects. Basically anything with a central nervous system. And many flora and microbes, which lack a central nervous system, also exhibit circadian rhythms, a 24-hour biological cycle that responds primarily to light and darkness in the environment. But that doesn't necessarily mean that plants sleep. With humans, it works like this. Our circadian cycle kicks in when sunlight enters our eyes in the morning. Brain cells that control melatonin levels, a hormone that anticipates the daily onset of darkness, are turned on. When the day ends, melatonin production increases, making you drowsy. What was it? Melatonin, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, they're both melatonin. Okay. Then you sleep until morning and the cycle starts over again. This diurnal, diurnal behavior goes back to the time when our ancestors lived in caves. Retreating into safe shelters every night not only kept early humans safe, but it gave their brains and bodies an opportunity to rest and recharge, and for injuries to heal. To find out why our bodies need sleep, researchers look at what happens when we go without it. Sleep deprivation experiments have revealed that people who are denied a good night's rest have more trouble doing, well, everything. Their memory is compromised, they're more irritable, and their health begins to suffer. Go without sleep long enough, and you'll suffer from hallucinations and, in rare cases, death. In one experiment, researchers placed several rats into a maze, and they had to figure out how to navigate it. The rats, not the researchers. Then the rats were put to bed. That night, the researchers let half of the rats have an undisturbed night of sleep. The other group had their sleep interrupted several times. The next morning, the sleep-deprived rats performed even worse inside the maze than the night before. And the other group not only navigated the maze successfully, but some actually did it faster than the previous night. So that means that sleep, in addition to helping retain memory, also helps you hone new skills. In fact, if you're a student and you have a big test in the morning, don't stay up all night cramming. Instead, review your notes once and then get a good night's sleep so your brain will be a better task taker. And that, my friends, is portablepress.com's Do Geese Get Goosebumps? And more than 199 perplexing questions with astonishing answers. The question that I read was, why do we have to sleep? And what else can I tell you? I got my partners at Absolute Comedy, right? Thought I'd let you guys know again that I'll be hosting at Absolute Comedy starting next Tuesday. So Tuesday, what the fuck month are we? August 14th to the 19th, I will be in Toronto. I leave Tuesday to head there. So, if any of my Toronto friends, any of my London, Ontario friends, any of my Kingston friends, if you guys want to come out and see me there, I would love to have you. Reach out to me and let me know if you're coming. I'll get you some free tickets to come see a show. That would be nice. I'd love to have you guys there. If some of my friends want to make the 2-hour drive from London, I know that that's a bit of an undertaking, but if you guys can make it, I'll see you. I'll see you. We'll spend some time, hang out during the day if you got time, right? We'll, have some lunch, preferably healthy lunch. I'm going to be Costcoing it up, get my produce and everything like that. Try to have a healthy lunch while I'm there, which will lead me in my next thing. But Absolute Comedy in Toronto, the 14th to the 19th. But of course, always good shows at Absolute Comedy. Check out absolutecomedy.ca. Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America, with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America. The sun gives life to the orchard. The orchard gives life to the apple. The apple gives life to Somersby. Somersby is a delicious sweet taste of sunshine, imported across the ocean, all the way from Denmark. The people in Denmark are smarter, and so are you, if you drink Somersby. With flavors like apple, blackberry, pear, elderflower lime, red rhubarb, and a taste as regal as this fake accent, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And now, you can try them all in the Somersby Mixer Pack, available wherever fine beverages are sold. So go on and try for yourself the crisp, refreshing taste of Somersby. Your taste buds deserve it. Please drink resplendently. And who else do I have? Who else? I got my partners at DK. Dorling Kindersley, guys. This week I read 2 books, as a matter of fact. Makes it easier when they are of this nature. I read 2 books about meals and meal preparation because, again, having had such an off-the-wagon fucking week, I was like, I gotta get back into it. I gotta get back into it a good way. So I got 2 books here. I have Low Carb on the go, and I have Vegan on the go. 2 great books because, again, as I'm bleeding heart, bitching and whining about the poor animals, while still eating, Five Guys burgers and getting an erection from how delicious that tasty meat is. Some hypocrisy there. So, I'm trying to get the carbs cut down because I don't need as many carbs as you take in. However, your brain does need carbs, and I learned that from this book. Speaking of the brain and absorbing things and memory-wise, you cannot, like the keto diet where it's like, no carbs. You gotta have some carbs. You gotta have some carbs. Your brain cannot burn fat. It needs sugars. So, you gotta give your brain some fucking carbohydrates. Anyways, the point is I've read a great book, Low Carb on the Go. And this book was outstanding, available, of course, from DK, and I'm going to put the links in the social media stuff that I always post. But Low Carb on the Go was really cool because the first section really breaks down carbohydrates, how they work for the body. Everything from I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but a monosaccharide, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides, which are like the different kinds, like simple sugars, double sugars, complex sugars. That's got all the different things in there. And of course, the more complex a sugar is, the longer it takes for your body to break it down, making it thus work harder and burn more energy. And at the same time, it's slower releasing the energy to your body so it can use it so you don't crash as much. It explains how your body metabolizes things over the course of the day and where it needs these energies and stuff like this. So cool. Again, it's a book that's basically a bunch of different meals and foods and things like that you can make on the go. So not only is it, hey, there's a bunch of it's essentially a low carb cookbook, but for people in a hurry like myself. So if you're trying to eat better, but you're like, well, I'm on the road and I don't have, 2 hours to make meal prep for the whole week, or I don't want to get stuck with the same meal every single day for the week and bore the shit out of myself. Like that's the issue with my mother. I'm trying to get her to do meal prep and she's like, well, I just get bored eating the same thing every day. And while I might add, I get bored with it, I'll do something different the next week. But the fact of the matter is it's way better for me to do what I'm doing. So anyways, this book is outstanding in terms of just the way it describes, again, I like the fact that DK stuff doesn't just go, hey, here's a cookbook. Hey, my name's Sally, and I've been a nutritionist and blah, blah, blah for a while, and I really hope you enjoy these recipes, and enjoy taking the liberties of making some fun little tweaks and things yourself, some little substitutions, and here's my book, and it's just bullshit. It's not to say that the recipes are bad or anything, but I just find that they don't really go into anything. They just go, here's my recipe book. Thanks so much. Recipes. Yay. I find that they're more story oriented. When I was a little girl, I didn't, the only things I enjoyed were comfort foods. And with this book, I wanted to share all the comfort foods that I have. So I really appreciate you taking the time to read it. And I hope you enjoy blah, 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 blah. The point that I'm making is DK's books, they start off with, hey, so you picked up this book on low carbs. So why are you interested in low carbs? Here's what carbohydrates are. Here's why you would want to have lower ones. Here's when you want to have, these kind of sugars and that kind of sugar. It gives you information. You actually get to learn something from it. So there's even a low carb exchange where it's telling you stuff like, don't eat this in graphs. Because again, it's a DK book, right? So lots of nice visuals. But it'll say instead of eating French fries, eat oven baked sweet potato or zucchini. You know what I mean? Instead of having wraps, eat lettuce leaves, spinach wraps, or omelets. Instead of soft drinks, it's like water with fresh fruit. Not all of them are night and day, substitutions. But it's here, it's like cakes and cookies. It says cakes and cookies made from low carb flours and nuts. Instead of, now this one made me laugh out loud when I read it. It's like, don't eat latte and macchiatos, eat coffee without milk. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get that there's carbs and shit. It's just funny. But even there's alternatives to sugar. Don't eat sugar, eat coconut sugar, honey, agave syrup, low calorie sweetener such as stevia. So the whole first section is great. It even actually goes through the trouble of telling you the different kinds of equipment that you should use in order to bring your foods on the goes. To not use plastic because plastic can leach chemicals. Same things with aluminum foil. I don't know if you guys know this, but acidic foods in particular can cause the aluminum to leach rapidly from the foil. So just little things like that. I liked learning all that stuff in advance. It even actually teaches you how to properly layer a jar. So instead of just, hey, make this jar, here's what they are. You see the picture, right? Sometimes, and I don't know if you guys are, would look at it and go, well, I got to make sure I layer it and say, well, you go, okay, those are all the things. I'm going to put all those things in there. It actually tells you how to layer the jar so that certain things don't leach into other things, right? Making things soft or soggy. So, I mean, again, some of that shit goes without saying, and some of that stuff goes without saying for me too. But there's just a lot of really wicked, low calorie, low carb. I shouldn't say low calorie. It is low calorie, but it's low carbohydrates, right? So one of the recipes I wanted to share with you guys, just an example, because I mean, it's just a recipe book, but there's a wicked thing. If you're looking to lower your carbs, it's going to help you lose weight because you're not overdoing it with your body. Once your body runs out of carbs, it's going to go to the fat, right? It's going to start burning off the fat. So this one I thought was really cool sounding. It's just a morning smoothie. It's a chocolate smoothie with avocado. So here's a freebie for you guys. Now, every one of these tells you right at the top of the page an icon of what you need. So in terms of travel, so this one's just a jar. Some of them will have like the containers and the jars, and it'll tell you need a kettle to maybe reheat it at work or set something up. So it's cool that you can just flip through it at a glance and have a quick look and see everything that you need. And if it's too much shit to bring on a day, if you know you can't do it, then don't do it. This one, nice and easy, mason jar. Just make it and put it in a mason jar. So the recipe calls for half an avocado pitted, 7 fluid ounces, 200 milliliters of almond milk, 1 ounce of or 30 grams of banana, frozen if desired, 2 tablespoons of raw cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of agave syrup, and cocoa nibs that are optional. So scoop out the flesh from the avocado and place it in a food processor with the almond milk, banana, cocoa, and agave syrup. Blend until smooth. If necessary, add a little water to obtain the desired consistency. Pour the smoothie into a jar and seal. Store in the refrigerator until ready to drink. At work, so that's another thing too. It'll tell you what to do at home, and then it'll tell you the at work section. So at work, garnish the smoothie with cocoa nibs if desired. Right? And so at the bottom of the page, each one of them has a chart that says at home, at work, serves the calories, the proteins, the carbs, and the fat. So for that one right there, it takes 5 minutes at home. At work is 1 minute. And that's assuming that you add the cocoa nibs. It serves 1. The calorie count of that is 317 calories. So for a meal, that's actually less than the regular amount you're supposed to have. 7 grams of protein, 14 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. And of course, that fat is from avocado, which is the good kind of fat. So there's the low carb on the go, guys. Just a quick little review and a huge thumb up from me as always. Just one thumb, yep, because the other thumb was holding the book open. Then the other one I got is vegan on the go. So same thing with vegan on the go. This one here, just it doesn't so much go into the whole, there's no preachiness about why you shouldn't eat meat or anything like that. It's just the idea that if you want to eat vegan, here's how you do it. And the introduction goes into how more and more places are starting to give you vegan options, but the longer term vegetarians tend to make more stuff at home because it's just cheaper, and you have more control over what goes in it, because even though something can be vegan, they can still have some processed stuff in it. So again, this has a section on what to get to pack things properly. Now, these recipes are not as focused on low carbohydrates. So it's not like, the low carb book and this one go hand in hand identically. If your goal is to lower your carbs, go with the low carb book. All right. Because the low carb book does have vegan, vegetarian, and meat options in there. But the idea is it is a very, very health conscious book in that, everything that they're suggesting is, mostly organic and do it yourself stuff. Now, the vegan book does not have low carbs in mind. All right. So some of these recipes call for the exact opposite of what the low carb book would call for. So again, depending on your goals, I'm going to be using both of these books. I'd like to eat more vegan meals. And the main thing I would say is, just in contrast with the two books, is go with, whatever your goal is, look at all the information both first and just see, okay, well, if I'm going to do a vegan one, is this a low carb vegan meal if low carb is your goal? What's really cool is this vegan book here too gives you a whole big section on when you're in a hurry and you're out and about, what to look for. So even though that this is vegan on the go in terms of recipes to make at home, it's got a really cool section just on vegan food in restaurants. And if you're going to an Italian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Indian, fast foods, modern American foods or Mexican restaurants, just what they have. So just as a small example, like I already read the other ones earlier, but just for fun, let's do modern American food. So the biggest challenge often comes at traditional American restaurants. Vegetable dishes are nearly always available, but make sure that the vegetables have not been tossed in butter. You can also order salads with vinaigrettes made from oil and vinegar. Otherwise, the best thing is to call the restaurant in advance and explicitly ask for vegan food. Now here it says demand influences supply. What? Vegan food, demand influences supply, and the more often vegan dishes Oh, demand influences supply. Okay, in and of itself. And the more often vegan dishes are requested, the sooner restaurants will begin to adjust. So, yeah, and they said the same thing about Italian, right? Because they're saying like you can order pasta and pizza, and but be careful because again, if you're trying to be vegan, either ethically or just for health wise, because a lot of Italian places have no egg in their pasta, but some do. And they were saying be careful with gnocchi because gnocchi has where's the thing. Yeah, as they usually are ready-made products that contain milk powder or eggs or other dairy products. So again, vegan being products that are not from animals in any way whatsoever. So I honestly, the people I know are vegan. I know there's a lot more vegans now that are not that obnoxious vegan, where you're just kind of like, ugh, how do I get away from this person? But this thing here is telling you, like, the book will tell you not only how to make like different meals, but it's telling you how to make different sauces and stuff like that. So if you do find like vegan pastas, a lot of chickpea pasta and stuff now, it's telling you how to make your own sauces for them. So that again, it's just something as quick as boil it. And this book is as well all about the go. So how long it takes to prepare, everything like that. Super cool book. And I am actually interested in making these little potato cakes. So that's a recipe I'll read to you guys real quick. So these delicious bites can be fried or baked in the oven without any oil at all. Serve this with fresh yogurt dip, flavored with a few chives. It's a little snack to pep you up and you can enjoy with a completely clear conscience. 1, peel the potatoes, cut into large chunks. Whatever. You guys don't need the fucking recipe. You want the recipe bad enough, email me, contact@onemanpodcast.com, and I'll fucking take a picture and send it to you. But peel the potatoes, cut into large chunks, and boil in salted water for around. I'm just talking about, sorry, I just realized it made it sound like I wasn't going to read you the recipe. I'm going to read you the way to make them, but I'm not reading you the fucking quantities. If you want that, I'll send it to you. So yeah, peel the potatoes, cut into large chunks, and boil in salted water for around 15 minutes until soft. Drain and transfer to a bowl. While still warm, mash with a fork until fairly smooth. Add the flour, 1 teaspoon more salt, and the herbes de Provence, don't know what the fuck that is, and work everything together to a smooth consistency. Roll out the mix until it's a 1/4 inch, 5 millimeters thick on a generously floured work surface using a rolling pin that you have also liberally coated with flour. Dust in 2.5 inches diameter diameter round cutter or glass with flour and cut out discs. Heat the oil in a pan. I thought I was supposed to do this with no oil at all. Heat the oil in a pan and fry the potato cakes on both sides until golden brown. Remove and drain on paper towels, then leave to cool. To make the dip, stir together the yogurt and chives and season to taste with salt and pepper. Pack up the potato cakes and the dip separately to take with you. Tip: the potato cakes can also be baked in the oven. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. Place them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and prick each several times with a fork. Bake in the center of the oven for 10 minutes and then turn them over and bake for a further 10 minutes or until they are a pale golden brown color. So yeah, that's a snack one. And I mean, you know what? I gotta be honest with you guys. Like all things DK, it's a lot more sexy looking at the pictures because that's what they do. They put pictures in things and makes it a lot more beautiful to look at. But those potato cakes, I'm telling you, with that yogurt dip, that looks like a good ass meal. They've even got like little toast spirals. They call them colorful little toast spirals. Again, I wish you could see the pictures, guys. But you know how you can see the pictures? Buy the fucking book. So if you're like me, you're busy, and you're trying to eat healthier, and then, and you're not constantly having, doubts of your successes in life and then crushing pizzas instead for a week. This is one of the things I'll start doing. And if I try, I'm going to be trying some of these things. Not this week. I got my meals prepped, but when I try these things, I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to share them on social media and, and let you guys see the shit that I'm doing. And I'll even let you know how it turns out because, that's what I do. So thank you to all my sponsors, guys. DK, Absolute Comedy, Summersby, and PortablePress.com. This week, right after this podcast, I'm going to be going with my friend, another friend of mine, Vanessa. I got lots of Vanessas in my life. We're going to be hanging out for a bit. I haven't seen her in a few months. I posted, she was part of the writing group a while back. She's had some stuff going on in her life, new jobs and stuff like that. We haven't hung out in a while, so we're going to go hang out. Tomorrow, Ubering, taxes. I'm doing a spot at Absolute Comedy to test out my new material and see if there's anything to it at all. Which there is. Of course there is. What the fuck am I talking about? Doing some tastings this week. I got another one-nighter gig, which I don't even know enough about. All I know is that I have a show I'm doing on Saturday at 9 o'clock. Don't know where. Don't know how long. Just know that there's a show on Saturday, so getting ready for that. Uber every morning, tastings in the afternoon. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to be leaving for Toronto. So I'm going to take my podcast gear with me. Sorry, I got the hiccups now. I'm going to be taking my podcast gear with me to Toronto and try to get some more interviews for you guys with some friends and comics and stuff like that. So I'll try to, I'm going to be doing that kangaroo ride thing I told you about on Tuesday. So I'll be taking a passenger with me. I've only got one person signed up so far, but still a week before that happens. And as things, as things fill up elsewhere, I'll hopefully be the only option, the only fucking ride in town there. But I'll tell you guys, more about that on the, I guess the next episode. I don't know if I'll be recording it while I'm in Toronto or if I'll try to do it early morning Tuesday. But either way, one way or the other, you'll either find out what kangaroo ride was like or the last minute, preparations for it. So having said that, guys, it's time to read the email for the week. Contact at onemanpodcast.com if you want to share anything at all. This week, my email comes from my friend Tiff. Tiff says, "Hey Josh, it's been a while. Hope everything is going well. Rich and I were playing a card game last week called Kinder Perfect. This is a hilarious fill-in-the-blank game about parenting. You should check it out, but it also got me wondering a few stupid questions about you. Just before I get to those stupid questions, Chris, my buddy Chris, who listens, my little game guru kind of guy, who's played a lot of stuff, especially with kids. Ever heard of Kinder Perfect, Chris? Is that one that's a good one? You play that one with your kiddos? All right, going back to Tiff's thing. How old would you be okay with your son and daughter having sex? Together? Never. I don't care how old they are. Shouldn't be fucking your sister. Would the ages be different? Okay, so in terms of kids, I don't have any of my own, and I don't really know, in terms of the ex's kids, I don't get to, I don't know how long they're going to be in my life for. Not to open up a can of worms or anything like that, but just Brody's older and he seems less, he was less interested when her and I were still together about doing things. And I just assume he's less, and he's a teenager now, right? So he's doing his, sitting in front of a screen all the time. Mickey, I enjoy spending time with, and she enjoys spending time with me. I don't know why, and I can't really speak to it. All I know is I've got this vibe right now that I may not be seeing them anymore. I don't know if that's the case. And I again, I don't want to tell the story because I don't know. It's not my place to tell it. Nothing ominous or anything like that. Just, my gut tells me that it's going to be more difficult for me to see them now. That's all. That's all it is. So I don't really know. I don't know if I'm going to be around them. Not now. Brody's a kid, so he's 14, but he's not in a place where he should be having sex with anybody. Would the ages be different for a boy and a girl? To me, it's not an age thing. To me, it's a maturity level thing. So I wouldn't say yes, the ages would be different. I would assume the ages are different. I didn't have sex until I was 18 because I was fucking terrified of it, right? I grew up with a single mom who was raising 2 kids. I knew what it was like to have a dad who wasn't fit to be a father, who wasn't responsible enough to be a father. And trust me, of all the things I've been in my life, all the mistakes I've made financially and just about everything, health-wise, everything, the one mistake I didn't make was getting someone pregnant. I didn't make someone when I was young, I didn't get someone pregnant and completely fuck up their life. So, and I'm not saying that's what pregnancy does, but if you're like me, where you're not really on stable ground ever, the last thing you want to do is go, "Hey, I haven't figured out life. It's time for me to teach it to someone else." So, I would say the ages would be different, but probably only based on the fact that it would be on the maturity level. I don't know when it would be now you should start having sex. When do you look at your kid and go, "Hey, all right, go ahead and have sex. Go for it. Yeah, it's fun. Go ahead, have fun. Enjoy it." Right? It was hard enough to be comfortable with the idea of them going to the store alone, and a part of that's because the world's "Hey, by the way, there's a pedophile every 6 feet out in public." Really? They're scaring you all the time. But I think that, if you teach your kids, not just, "Hey, don't take rides from strangers," but hey, if stranger's talking to you, first off, no stranger should be talking to a child all by themselves on the street unless they're "Hey," even to be "Hey, where are your parents?" You should be able to see a kid's age and that they're walking with purpose. If a kid's walking, staring straight ahead, walking all by themselves, odds are they're not panicking because they've lost their parent. Right? So if you're, 8, 9 years old walking down to the corner store, I don't even know if that's too young. I don't think we sent the kids at that age, but you're walking down to the corner store, 8, 9 years old, and some adult comes up to you and, where's your parents? I would say that's a red flag and fucking just start screaming stranger and running away. But I don't know. Like when you just tell your kid like, oh yeah, it's time to have sex. That's a fucking creepy thing to say, especially coming from the stepdad that I would be. Hey, I just want you to know I'm okay with you having sex now. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where like, really, you just got to fucking train them to be like, look, be responsible, because you could really fuck up your life. That's the thing too, right? You can't teach like using fear. You got to fucking try to do your best with the head on your shoulders, Oh, fuck. What a question. Thanks for asking. I don't even know if you can. Yeah. And I'm sure this is just part of a board game. I'm answering this like you're having a real moral dilemma on your end. If it was like, yeah, I'm like, how old? I'm looking at the question. How old would you be okay with your son or daughter having sex? It's not an age thing for me. It's not an age thing. And I'm not saying, she's a real mature 9-year-old. Let her, I'm just saying like, okay, first off, the age of consent in the country is 16. So why don't we just use that as like a legal, 14-year-olds are allowed to fuck, but they have to fuck another 14-year-old or something like that. Or they're allowed to fuck up to a 16-year-old. Oh God, what a weird conversation. You're just trying to get me put on a fucking watch list right now? Yeah, I don't know. I would just hope that I just hope that it's someone they love. First off, I think the first person you fuck, if you're still like, it's weird. It's the first person you fuck, the person who steals your virginity is almost never the person that you ever stay with, right? It's just the first person who taught you, negotiating. And usually you lose that first negotiation. But, the ages wouldn't be different. Just everybody when they're ready. Fucking when the fuck are you ready? Guys are never fucking ready. Jesus. All right. Do you prefer to deal with kids at a certain age? A baby, toddler, preteen? Well, preteens are hormonal, mouthy. Teenagers are probably the fucking worst. They hate you. They think that they know more than you do. The only thing that they know more than you do is the definition of stupid slang terms currently. Toddlers are okay. They're cute. Toddlers, I don't know how old a toddler like counts. Like if it's like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old a toddler. Because if that is toddlers, for sure. Babies, what I don't like about babies is you can't communicate with them, in any meaningful way. Like obviously, like you talk to them and they stop and they open their eyes wide and stare at you because they don't know what the fuck's going on. But I like toddlers because toddlers are the most on par with my brain level. Is they sort of say what's on their mind. It's just vastly creative because they haven't learned all the rules and things that don't make sense yet. So they're just communicating. They know what words mean and they're communicating their crazy thoughts, and it's fucking hilarious to listen to them. Like I love them. When Brody and Michaela were that age, the stuff that they would say was hysterical. And I loved hearing it. I absolutely loved hearing it. So toddler is my favorite. Because they're still cute and they're funny and they're creative and they have no shame at that age too, which is great, right? Why teach people shame? Anyways, all right. So toddler's my favorite. Have you ever been skinny dipping? I don't know. I've never like been skinny dipping in a lake, like in a horror movie or anything like that, but I can't remember. I really don't know. I think Simon and I went to a pool one time. I just realized that sounds like only me and a dude were there. Simon and I, years and years ago, after a show, got invited by two women to go back to one of their places, and they had a pool in the back. And I think we went skinny dipping there, but I don't remember. And I know there was a time. I know there's a time with one of my exes, and I won't say who it was because I don't want to, again, be rude. But one of my exes, we had sex in a public pool. Again, no one else was around. The lifeguard had gone inside. We were the only ones there. They did this like adult swim where you were is like after like the last hour the pool's open, only adults can go in. And we were the only 2 adults there. And the lifeguard was like, I got to go inside and do some paperwork for like a couple minutes. Are you guys, either one of you is going to drown? And we're like, nah, we're good. And we had sex in the fucking pool there. You couldn't do anything in any kind of capacity to finish. But if you could travel to one place, what would it be? Well, right now, Los Angeles is very exciting for me, so that's an easy one. Have you ever been to a strip club of the same sex? A gay strip club? No, I don't know of anyone. There used to be one called Hot Shots, I think in Ottawa, but I have no idea if it's still around or whatever. I've never been to it. I know lots of women who've been to female strip clubs, but I've never been to a male strip club. I've been to a gay bar before, which I didn't know it was a gay bar when I went. I went with my friend Lauren, and she's like, "Oh, you should come to," I think it was called AWOL or whatever at the time. My friends and I are going to be there tonight. And I was like, all right. So I called up my buddies Jimmy and Mika. We ran into a bunch of guys we went to high school who were all doormen there. They weren't gay. They were just like all on the football team, which again, you'd think, oh no, they're gay. No, straight dudes, but it's just apparently one of our friends from high school, like was co-owner and gave all of his buddies on the football team's jobs as bouncers there. And it wasn't until we got there and they're like, what the hell are you guys doing here? We're like, what? We're meeting our friends. And then they told us what it was. And we're like, well, then what the fuck are you doing here? But anyways, walking through the gay bar to the back, I had my ass grabbed so many times, and I'm not saying I'm hot shit. Like in a gay bar, I'm the fat chick, right? And I had my ass grabbed so many fucking times. Like I totally empathized with women. I was like, is this what it's like to walk? I don't even think it's like that. I think women get whistled at. I think women get touched who don't deserve to be touched, and it's horrible. And I'm so sorry. But it was like I was like every 2 seconds getting grabbed, and I was like, there's no way. Because it's still gay men, right? They still have that testosterone in them to be like, just take what you want. I don't know. I'm not saying gay men are rapists, but that's probably that. I would imagine that nobody came across like that until I said it, but I don't think that at all. Of course, it's just the idea that men are aggressive and men are aggressive with what they want, and gay men want men. So yeah, I got grabbed a lot, and I was like, I don't want to go back here again. Okay. Next question. I'm not digging myself a fucking hole answering these. What is your finest childhood memory when you got in trouble for doing something you found fun? I don't know. I don't know. I never got caught masturbating. That would probably be my, if I got caught masturbating and got in shit, that would be the answer in a second. But I never got caught. And I don't know if that's because I was super stealthy or because my mom was intelligent, and who the fuck wants to have that conversation? So I don't know. How did your mom deal with you lying as a kid? Again, I don't remember getting caught lying. Yeah, I really don't. I was a smartass. I wasn't so much of a liar as I was a smartass. And the thing was, I was a funny smartass. So, I mean, I could tell you right now, Jimmy and Mika have like probably 100 different lines where my mom would give me shit for something and I'd fucking smart off back at her. I posted a picture. Oh, I can't even tell the story. I can't tell the story. You want to hear the story? I'll tell you in person. But just ask me about my mother and the orangutan, and I'll fucking, and yeah, that was like between me and her to make her laugh. And I found it to be particularly insulting to her. And she thought it was so funny. She emailed it to like all of her friends and coworkers. Like, that's just an idea of like my mom. I'm very supported by my mother. So I'm lucky in that regard. Is, you know, as much as we fought and we had a rough relationship, she never made me feel like, you know, wanting to be funny or anything like that. Like she stood behind, like if whatever I did made me happy, she was supportive of it. You know, she just wants me to, you know, be okay. How did your mom deal with your attitude? She would share it with people and tell the fucking jokes, pay me no royalties for the laughs she was getting. How did your mom deal with your, I just read that one. Sorry, I'm trying to cross these off as I get them. How would your parenting style today differ from how you were raised? My mom was a single mom. I would not be a single dad, I would hope. So you do need a partnership. You kind of need a good cop, bad cop thing, I think. Because as much as like when you have kids, like there's usually one kid who's pissing you off and the other kid's not. Usually. Road trips and stuff are different. But I mean, just like we would always notice, like when one of the kids was giving us a hard time, the other kid saw how difficult the situation was at the time and usually was like, oh, I don't want to fucking just step into that, right? A lot of people are like that. When fucking two people are arguing in the street, a lot of people are like, fuck, I don't want to go anywhere near that, you know? But I would say it's usually it's nice to have someone to play the good cop or the bad cop. And my mom would spank us at times. My mom wasn't abusive, but she would spank us. And I wouldn't spank. I do think that I can use my words. I don't want to be the kind of person who's violent in any capacity. I don't want to punch someone in the face if they piss me off, right? It's not just with kids. I think in a society, physical violence is not super. Doesn't mean I don't want to fucking knock people out, but I too do not want to be knocked out. There's times where someone could take my silliness out of context and want to punch me in the face, and I don't want to get punched in the face. So, right? Do unto others the way you'd have them do unto you. Random, I know, but would you expect any different? Haha. Hope the working out and eating well are doing great. Always rooting for you. Miss your face, Tiff. Tiff, thank you so much for your email, and I appreciate the fun little questions. Again, just makes me feel like somebody gives a shit about what I'm saying. Contact at onemanpodcast.com, guys, if you want to send anything in. You send it, I read it. That's how it works. Thank you, portablepress.com, absolutecomedy.ca, Summersby, and dk.com/ca in Canada, just dk.com in the States. And, Dorling Kindersley, just Google that shit if you're anywhere else in the world. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You may as well follow them in the meantime, and I'll have more details as my social media gets handed off to a real person who knows how to do it. Until then, I will have a better week of better results for you next week. I'm going to go have some experiences and have some stories for you again. Thanks for listening. I always appreciate it, guys.